Hello, boys and girls. It is Moshe Khan, and we are back for another fabulous, amazing, extraordinary week of storytelling. Can you believe we are in lockdown 5.0? That means not our first, not our second, not our third, not our fourth, not our fifth. But you know what that means? It's not even that bad, because on Yom Kippur we have 5 tefillahs. You know why we have 5 tefillahs on Yom Kippur? Because we have 5 neshamas. We have nefesh, ruach, neshama, chai, yechida. And every one of these lockdowns has been an opportunity for us to get connected to our inner being. Anyway, I am going to be reading you about a very exciting story. It's called Tu B'Av, because this Shabbos, well, actually, when you're going to hear this, it's not going to be this Shabbos. It's going to be this past Shabbos, to be honest. The 15th day of Menachem Av, which is a very, very special and joyous and happy and festive day in the Jewish calendar. It is such a wonderful day. It is so amazing. It is actually so special. And this book is written by Sarah Bailey Teleshevsky, who's all the way from Melbourne, that's right, and is illustrated by, also Sarah Bailey Teleshevsky. Isn't that interesting? She both wrote it and did all the pictures. And I don't know when I bought or got these books, but I've always loved them, and they're over here. And here you see, it's a picture of one of the things that happened on Tu B'Av, is where all the girls would go out and dance, and they would say, come and find yourself a beautiful bride, and the Baruchim would look. We'll talk about that a bit later. Are you ready? Get back, sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. Here we go. Hello. Excuse me. Tu B'Av is one of the happiest days in the year. Many good things happened on this day. The first one happened in the Midbar. Midbar means, you got it, in the desert. When Bnei Yisrael asked Moshe Rabbeinu to send Meraglim. What's Meraglim? These spies. Was that good or bad? Can't hear you. That's right, it wasn't very good. To go and see Eretz Yisrael, what it looked like. Very sadly, Moshe Rabbeinu picked 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. 12. One from each Shevet, one from each tribe. And he sent 12, and 2 of them were very good. What's their names? You got it. Yeshua and Kalev. Kalev or Yeshua. Very good. I'm actually impressed. But 10 of them, they came back and they said naughty things. Here's a picture of the spies. They came back and they said, they are giant. They are so big. They could trample on us. You need 12 people just to carry. Look over there, you see? And how big all the fruit is. Look at that man carrying the fruit. You could see? Oh yeah, they didn't speak very nicely about Eretz Yisrael. We know sometimes people do that. Unfortunately, Bnei Yisrael listened, and they didn't have trust in Hashem. They started crying. And they didn't want to go into Eretz Yisrael. Hashem was very upset. And he said, you are now going to wander 40 years in the desert. By the way, coincidentally, the day they were crying Tisha B'Av will be a day of Bechia L'Doros. Ask your mommy and your tati. And till today, Tisha B'Av is a sad day. But now the story turns around. And here are the people crying. Father, don't cry. We don't want to cry anymore. On Tisha B'Av, which was a Saturday, the Bnei Yisrael went to sleep as usual. And in the morning, well, every year some people unfortunately would pass away. But that morning, nobody died. They thought maybe they'd made a mistake. They thought maybe they'd miscalculated when Tisha B'Av was. So that night they went back to sleep. And guess what? When they woke up again, everybody was there. It was so exciting. And here are the people, they are dancing. They are celebrating because they are joyous. Dun, 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 dun. This happened every night until the 15th of Av, which is Tu B'Av. Like you got Tu B'Shvat Hagi, Chag Leila, not Tu B'Shvat is in Shvat. Tu, which is Tesvav, is in the month of Av. When they saw that the moon was big around, they knew that the moon only gets big around in the middle of the month. So Tisha B'Av must have passed 6 days ago. Now the Bnei Israel were very happy because Hashem showed them how much He loved them. And that this year they would go into Eretz Yisrael. Here you see the big moon, and here you see the Yidden celebrating. What a celebration! What a joyous day! That was number one. So it was a very happy day. Another story happened. Also a bit of a beginning of a sad story, but it's all about the ending. There was a time when the young man from Shevet Binyamin were only allowed to marry girls in their own Shevet. The people of Shevet Binyamin did something very naughty, and they were not allowed to marry into the other tribes, into the other Shvatim. Now finally on Tu B'Av, Hashem said, we forgive them, we love them. They are one of us, and they're going to be allowed to marry girls from any Shevet. Here you could see them getting married. Di-di-da-da, ya-ya-ya. Di-di-da-da, ma-ya-ya. Shevet Binyamin is coming in. It's quite amazing. Di-di-da-da, ya-ya, ma-ya-ya-ya. Oh, yeah. At the time, there was a wicked... Oh, this is another story. You remember the name Shlomo HaMelech? That's right. There was David HaMelech. He was from Shevet Yehuda. And he had a son called Shlomo HaMelech. Who had a son called... stumped you there. Rechavam. At the time of Shlomo HaMelech's son Rechavam, there was another big general, Yeravam. Sounds like Rechavam? True, but it's Yeravam. And Yeravam said, I want to be king. So you know what he did? He separated Eretz Yisrael into 2 little countries. That's right. Eretz Yisrael stopped being one big country. It's like, imagine in Australia, you've got Victoria and New South Wales, and imagine they were 2 separate countries. It wasn't called Australia. That's right. Well, that's sort of what happened. And from then on, there was 2 Jewish kings in the land of Israel. Now, what happened was, Yeravam didn't want people to go, let's say, from New South Wales to Victoria, or Victoria to New South Wales. But everybody wanted to go to Yerushalayim, obviously. Why did everybody want to go to Yerushalayim? Because that's where the Beis HaMikdash was. So you know what he did? Very, very sad. He built fences. And he said, nobody could go to Yerushalayim, because that would be like in the other kingdom. And everybody has to stay up north on this side. But people wanted like a little Beis HaMikdash. So he built a very, very naughty Beis HaMikdash with idols. And people would go and serve the idols instead of serving Hashem. And here you could see, over there were the gates blocking the roads to Yerushalayim. Oh my gosh. And that's where they went. So for many years later on Tu B'Av, a king called Asher took away the fences, and he said, everybody go to Yerushalayim, because that's our home. That's where we find Hashem. And here you see, everybody was able to go to the road on Tu B'Av and celebrate in the Beis HaMikdash. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that exciting? So on this Tu B'Av, you got to be excited. You got to be happy. You got to serve Hashem and say, thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem, for the sky so blue. Thank you, Hashem, for everything you do. Thank you, Hashem. I'm a happy Jew. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Da-na-na-na-na-na, and then Tu B'Av was also a happy day, because on the last day of the cutting of the wood for the fires of the Beis HaMikdash, you see, right now I'm wearing a jumper, a sweater. You know why? Because in Melbourne, it is winter. You see outside, it's dark. But you know, in Eretz Yisrael, it is summer. That's right. And since Pesach, it's been getting hotter, 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 hotter. You've ever played that game? Hotter, hotter, very hot. Bitey, bitey, bitey. Right now, it's so hot. And if you had wood, do we want wormy wood? Oh, no, we don't. We want the wood to be nice and dry for the Mizbeach. And the sun would come down and dry all the wood. But after Tu B'Av, it's now gone boop. it's peaked and it's now on the way down. When you're on the way down, not a good time. And therefore, they stopped chopping the wood because they only wanted dry, great wood. So this was a very special occasion in the Beis Hamikdash. So after Tu B'Av, the weather changed and the wood could get wet and be spoiled. So on Tu B'Av, all the wood choppers would celebrate the end of the cutting season and they would hang up the axes. That's what it talks about in the Gemara. Here you go. You see all the axes? That's what it was. We are doing so well. So there are many reasons why Tu B'Av is such a happy day. When we had a Beis Hamikdash, Tu B'Av was even more special. It was a real holiday. And it was as holy as Yom Kippur. That's right, you heard me. Because birthdays are special times that Hashem showed love and forgiveness to the Yidden. Oh, look at that beautiful painting. But you think that was the only thing that happened? Oh no, you got it. It wasn't. On Tu B'Av, all the young ladies who wanted to get married would go to the fields and dance together. Every girl will borrow a white dress from a friend so nobody could tell who was rich and who was poor. You see, sometimes the way you're dressed, you could be dressed, oh, very fancy, oh la la. And everybody could say, oh, they must be very, very wealthy by the way they look externally. We don't want to judge anybody by the external. We want to judge them not how they look over here. Doesn't matter what color glasses, but how they act inside. Remember, boys and girls, it doesn't matter how you look on the outside. It matters who you are inside. It also matters how you act on the outside. That matters. Looks doesn't matter. How you act matters. But I want to tell you something. So they would all swap clothes. Everybody would borrow. So just because you weren't wearing the nicest clothes, it doesn't mean you were not rich. Or if you were wearing even a very fancy clothes, doesn't mean you weren't poor. Nobody knew. But does that matter? No. What matters is how you are on the inside. And therefore they would say, Sheke hachein ve'evel ha'yofi, Isha yirat Hashem. That is what's special. Don't worry about the external beauty, but worry about the inner beauty. So nobody could tell, and everybody would get married. It was such a beautiful time. And you could see everybody, all the Chassenbachers and all the Kalamadels, in Ve'yagefen, you remember that song? If you're old enough, that's what you remember. This is way before there was all the new singers. This is the good old-fashioned song, boys and girls. Yeah, you want to remember. Only on this special day, holy day, the ladies, they were able to sing and dance, and look at this, here you go, and they were able to start a beautiful family, mishpacha. They were so holy. It was so special because everybody was able to look at the essence of who you are, not on the external. Even now on Tu B'Av, it's a special day. We still have to wait until Mashiach comes when we have the third Beis Hamikdash will come down from the sky. Again, to see just how happy and joyous Tu B'Av will be. May Mashiach come today. And this is the incredible story of the Tu B'Av. And I want to tell you something, boys and girls. I hope you are listening very, very, very well. Because as you go shluffy, and you're lying down on your side, and you just said, obviously you got negavasa by your bed, of course. And you brush your teeth, of course. And you're going to say, Shema Yisrael, Hayashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. And you're going to be listening today, B'Shem, you're going to be crying, and you're going to say, I want you to know, Hashem, what a good Yiddish boy or girl I am, inside my heart, inside my soul. I am singing and I am dancing with you, and I am celebrating, because I know inside I am one with you. That's what Tu B'Av does. It tells us, don't worry about all the outside. What matters is inside your neshama. So right now, as you take a deep breath in, take a deep breath, and you feel Hashem coming inside of you and breathing inside of you. And when you breathe out, feel that you're saying, thank you, Hashem. Breathe in. Hashem is coming in. And breathe out. Say, thank you, Hashem. A gute Nacht, jüdische Kinderlach. A gute Nacht, Schlafgesundheit, chassidische Chaleimes. See you later.